Matt Nagy. So Matt Nagy will be just finished 3 hours ago. Finished an interview, a Zoom interview with the New York Jets, and he apparently has been requested to have an interview with the New Orleans Saints. So just want to hear what you guys have to say about Matt Nagy going. As far as one of the good things about this, Eric Bieniemy just became a free agent. The UCLA let him go after his 1 year there at UCLA. And Doug Pederson just got let go at Jacksonville. So now two former OCs, the guys who were OCs, before Matt Nagy came back for the second term, you had two guys who have been OCs on with Andy Reid. So they're going to be free agents as well. So if Matt Nagy does go, that means we have Doug Pederson and Eric Bieniemy potentially coming back to fill that void. But obviously, what are you guys' thoughts on Matt Nagy potentially getting another head coaching gig, whether it's with the Jets or New Orleans or wherever? And obviously, who would be your preference between Doug Pederson and Eric Bieniemy if those do become the lead candidates to be our next OC? So what are your guys' thoughts on everything here?
You already ruling them out from other jobs besides being OC here? They're not going to be on coaching anywhere else? Possibly. Well,
I will say I have not.
College or pros?
Well, Eric Bieniemy has been, as far as anybody's shortlist, I haven't read that Eric Bieniemy is being up for any of those jobs right now, and I feel bad for Eric Bieniemy. His situation. The fact that Matt Nagy, I'm not knocking Matt Nagy, but the fact that Matt Nagy potentially will have a second head coaching job before Eric Bieniemy ever got one is just absolute insanity to me. And some of the anti-EB people can knock me for saying that, but it makes no sense to me that Doug Pederson has two head coaching gigs since leaving the Chiefs as their OC. Matt Nagy's going to go get his second OC or his second head coaching gig since leaving Kansas City. And EB never got one shot at it. Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I'm looking, Reid, this is Reid's words, sitting there saying that Matt Nagy was the best head coaching candidate he's ever had. That's what he said. And that was before he got the one for where he got the head coaching for the Bears at the time. Look, any guy that has the opportunity to go on and get a promotion, especially if this is what they want to do, I'm all for it, man. Hey, go get it. Why not? If that's what you want to do, you want a head coach, you want to go ahead and have a team, have your own team, do your own thing with it. By all means, congratulations. We wish you well if that's the case. So that's how I feel about it. I think Nagy did a good job when he first went up at Chicago. The wheels kind of fell off a little bit, but he did a pretty decent job. So, and then going to the question, who do I want to see if it was between Pederson and EB? I mean, yeah, EB would be good coming back here. Dougie probably too. I know both of those guys, and both of those guys are very quality coaches. They really are. So I wouldn't be mad at either one of them. Should bring them both back if you could, So that's where I look at it. I like to see this whole dance that we're doing right now continue for a long time. Okay. And so those guys will be able to provide that. So
you can say the same thing you just said about Nagy with Dougie P's experience with the Jaguars. The wheels kind of fell off after a little bit.
Yeah.
Because things are looking pretty promising there. Look, he had his quarterback of the future.
Mm-hmm.
They had some early success, and then they've had a lot of bad luck too. When your main stud quarterback has some regression and then injuries, it can get bad real fast. But I still like Pederson. I'd love Pederson to be a coordinator here, and I like EB too. There was a little more drama with EB when he was here, though. But I would like them both back. Fill it up. Fill up the staff.
Okay. Let me ask you, so the drama, what do you mean? So just kind of clarify a little bit.
There were a couple more stories about like butting heads with people, weren't there? When you have a headbutt and then they said, oh, no, it's all good. We just get fiery on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with because I like players being held accountable, and it was almost stamped by Reid to be okay. So I'm okay with that. And then when he went to the Commanders, I don't know if that was as okay as it was here because he didn't have that built up clout over there. So then all of a sudden it was a problem of him, getting in teammates' faces and and players having an issue with the way he ran things.
Okay.
I don't think it was as big a problem in Kansas City, but I was just saying between the two guys, Pederson obviously didn't have stories like that.
Right.
Maybe he's more of a player's coach than EB, and EB's more of a hold them accountable coach. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind either one.
No, either. And I think with EB, and I hear exactly what you're saying, and I agree. Like, kind of that we're saying is controversy is part of that, like holding guys accountable. I think it was one of the things that they said about EB was good for Pat because he made sure Pat was still, hey man, look, you still got to do your thing. You got to keep your fundamentals. I don't care you want to run this. This is how we got to do things. So he had to pull Pat back in the fire sometimes. Like, hey, he got to pull him over here. You got to do these things. He got on, I think, Tyreek Hill a little bit too. I think him and Travis Kelce might have went at it. But I think it's a lot of respect there that was given between the both of them. Okay. And those guys, because he's going to cut it to you straight. I'm just going to be straight with you. He is. He's just going to cut to the whole mess with it. I think that's one that Shady didn't really like him a lot because he was just like, man, I know you've done been in the league. A lot of guys have been. But we still need things out of you. Like, you can still be a professional. You can still do things to keep a championship. That's what we're trying to do here. And I think Shady he didn't like that. He kind of felt like, he kind of stepped out of place where I feel like, hey, man, I've ascended to a certain point that I'm beyond correction. But EB was like, man, look, hey, man, we all out here to play. We all out here to get better. We all out here to put in. And I think that's one thing I like about EB. Now, kind of with Dougie, he kind of fell out of good graces, man. He was up in Philadelphia. I mean, he just kind of went down quick, too. I mean, they just kind of got rid of him. I was like, daggone, you win a Super Bowl? 2 years later, you out?
I know.
And so I think that was a little bit of the reticent of maybe he didn't want to do things his way.
A little bit Philly, too, though.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
If this year didn't get turned around, we might have seen a similar outcome for, I always forget his name.
Sirianni. And I don't think
that way for sure.
And I don't think he's out of the clear. If they lose in the first round, I could definitely see them getting rid of him. They almost got rid of him last year when they lost in the first round.
Yes. It was getting bad. He was yelling at fans, finger pointing. Yeah. Even when things were going well, they were fighting on the sidelines, being held back from positional coaching.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a Philly thing too. And when you have a really big name roster like they always seem to do in the Howie Roseman era, you're gonna have a lot of personalities, a lot of egos. I mean, look, it's not like everything's been sunshine and roses since Pederson left. You have Hurts fighting with, having issues with receivers, right? And apparently Hurts doesn't get along with I forgot his name again, Sirianni. So it's not like now if it was the opposite, if they were winning and things were great, and it was like, okay, we know what the problem was, but that's such a crazy locker room. I don't think you can even point at who the problem is. I think there's just a bunch of stuff happening there, and it's been happening for years.
Want to make some quick cash and have fun during the NFL playoffs? Well, it's time to embrace your inner underdog. Over the last 3 weeks, we have given 11 selections, and we have cashed on 10 of those, predicting higher or lower on multiple different player statistics. So we are ready to continue this heater into the playoffs. So if you have yet to download the Underdog app, do so now and get free cash. Click the link in the description or use promo code CHIEFCONCERNS, one word, to claim your free pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. It's NFL playoff season, so let's continue to keep the good vibes in 2025.
Look, man, you got prima donnas, okay? It's just call it what it is. A.J. Brown is a prima donna. He's a talented guy, no question about it. But we know at a certain point he wants the football. A lot of wide receivers, they want the football. They want the things their way. I think Jalen Hurts is a guy that keeps his nose to the ground, doing things like the right way, trying to do that. And I've taken that just from what, Jason Kelce said about him. And other guys have talked about Jalen Hurts and, what type of leadership he actually gives. And then so Sirianni, like when you start looking at a coach, like, why are your antics more than what players are? Why are you doing it? Look, I've been in Philly. I know what Philly's like. You can't do that. I'm sorry. Like they will turn on you in an instant. We was talking about on the fire and the wind. That mess around with Philly, and they'll burn you. They'll absolutely burn you. So okay, it's like a little bit of edgy, but hey, they ain't gonna tolerate that for too long. They're not.
No.
And I think with Pederson, his was just, I think he was against Hurts playing and him being a guy. They was like, look, man, we brought him here for a reason. He's a quarterback of the future. You keep trying to bring in what was it, corn on the cob or Foles or whoever it was he kept trying to throw in there to do things.
I think he benched Hurts at the end of that season for Nate Sudfeld at the end of that season.
Yeah, man, come on.
They got a better pick because of that. They got a better pick because of that. And who'd that pick end up being? Was that the Jalen Carter year?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
So you know what? I'm sure going back, they don't regret it at all.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I do believe, when you're doing these things, anytime as a coach and it precedes you, right? Your reputation precedes you. Okay, they know you have a problem. Guys are gonna have an issue. EB went in to fix Washington on some young guys, young receivers who wasn't used to working and being hard and being coached hard. Okay, and they go into management. Oh, he's being too hard on us, and all. Man, straighten yourself up. Okay, this is a man's sport. All right, and he had no time to babysit him. And so sometimes it took them to like, all right, he just wants the best out of us. He wants the best out of us. And really, I think somebody said this on here, and they were just talking about it's hard. On the round said, other than the head coach, it's hard for players making $10 to $50 million to accept criticism from an AC making $2 million. Not if he's the right one. So OCs, good OCs, know how to get the best out of you. And we know great players want to be coached well. They want to be coached hard. And sometimes as OC and stuff, there's going to be a little bit, some backlash, and there's going to be some headaches. There's going to be some things you're not agreeing on. That just happens. It does happen. Until it starts becoming a real problem, starts, affecting your performance, start affecting what you're saying to the media. That's an issue. It starts getting out like that. Okay, now you might have to change directions. But guys that want to be coached up hard and you hold them accountable, most of those guys fall in line like, look, I get it. I got what you're trying to say, right? So someone like Josh McDaniels and Brady going at it on the sideline, but they were successful.
And he has a reputation of, EB came with a reputation. It's not like he was some guy off the street.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, who am I? That's who I am. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Well, I think Rivera had a talk to EB about the way he was talking to players in Washington. Like there was a whole thing about it. I remember on the local news they were talking about that stuff. I was like, my gosh, this is crazy. These are professional athletes.
Also, I think I remember reading this too. It became like a good cop, bad cop, and Rivera can be very soft on players too. So it would be like players would go to Rivera to complain about EB being too hard. So then Rivera would be like, oh, let me talk to him. Let me talk to him. And at that point, when you got coaches undermining other coaches, that's not good.
Oh, you can't have that. That'll definitely get you ran out of town.
But obviously EB has I know there was that. I remember we talked about that bullshit hit piece that came out. Like it was like some person wrote a public an article on Twitter like 2 years ago when EB was still on our team, and zero attribution, and the person ended up taking it offline. But I remember JD, remember that somebody wrote that BS article that everyone was talking about, everyone was sharing it. Oh man, like Pat actually hates EB and all that nonsense. But obviously they have respect for EB. That's why they wouldn't have even brought him to the AFC. Remember the night before the AFC Championship game against Baltimore? Who was at the hotel? EB was addressing the team. So, like, there's still the love there for EB. And quite frankly, a lot of people are saying that having that buddy that Nagy's been having with Mahomes, maybe we need a little bit of that fire back on the sidelines to have EB back there, kind of, holding some guys' feet to the fire a little bit. And one more comment here. Someone said that Barbershop said that Mahomes' best seasons came under EB. Kevin Morris said we had Tyreek then, Barbershop. Not true. In 20, with our Mahomes' second MVP, that was the first year without Tyreek, and that was EB's last year as the OC. So
That's right. That's right. Great point. Great point. I think the guys kind of look at EB and respect him a lot. EB's kind of like the big brother too. Okay. Like you'll get at it with your big brother. Like I hear y'all two go at it, right? But I don't know what Tage's like, hey man, like you know when Tage is, at his limit with it. Okay. He's like, okay, you still got respect for your big brother. Like, I got you. Hey, don't mean that y'all gonna go at each other's neck. Huh?
Get him.
Yeah. Now, Tage, I'm saying this because I'm the youngest in my family too. All right. Now I could go with my brothers, but there's a level of respect I give them too as well. But we both got to be heard. But ultimately, I'm like, yeah, man, sure, that's my brother. Love him. And, sure, we might get into it, but it's all respect there. It's all respect there. So I know that's what EB is more like to those guys, and they can listen to him. So when he says something, it's like E.F. Hutton. Remember E.F. Hutton? You're gonna listen. You're gonna listen.
As far as Doug Pederson, like I said, I'm fine with either one. I hope they bring both of them back. Because quite frankly, neither one of those guys should be without a job unless they want to be not coached for a year. Those guys need a home, come back to Kansas City, be consultants at the very least. But Doug Pederson, he made Alex. I mean, people talk about, Andy Reid's the reason why Alex Smith became this badass, right? Harbaugh saved Alex Smith's career, but then when Alex Smith went to Kansas City, he became this even better. Doug Pederson was behind that. Doug Pederson was behind making Alex Smith, become this, more of this elite thrower of the football. And quite frankly, Pederson's never had Mahomes. So, Nagy and EB have already been with Mahomes. Doug Pederson's never been with Mahomes. So that could be something that we've never even seen before. Some little bit differences with having Doug Pederson back here with Mahomes as his quarterback. We've never seen that rendition of Doug Pederson. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And that'd be good. Definitely, man. Dougie would be a good guy for Pat. No question about it. For sure. The kids don't know what E.F. Hutton is, JD. But a lot of people on here do. They know what E.F. Hutton.
Who is E.F. Hutton? I don't know. Maybe I'm out of it. Teja, do you know what E.F. Hutton is?
No, I don't think so.
I think E.F. Hutton was like an insurance company. I remember the what's the name? The commercials used to always come and talk about listening. E.F. Hutton. Stockbroker is what they are, stock firm.
Okay.
So, yeah. So for financials.
If Hutton talks, people listen. So Sasha's got that one.
Yeah. They talk, people listen. That's it. So
yeah. It just takes a little noise from someone like Shady and a writer trying to sell headlines to taint EB's accomplishments. Exactly.
Yeah. Like Shady, a writer just try to sell her. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So those guys need to be held accountable when they was out there in Washington. He made them better. He made them grow up quick. Like, look, get your tail together. This is what we're trying to do. It ain't about you coming in here wearing all these different outfits, trying to get as many yards. We're trying to win a championship. And why would you not listen? This is what gets me. Okay. Why would you not listen to a guy that's won multiple Super Bowls, who's had the best quarterback in the business, who has developed guys over the years? Okay. That's the arrogance. If you're that too confident and arrogant to listen to a guy like that, you had the problem. You're the problem. It's not him. You're the problem. And so I think when you get in front of a real coach, guys know it. Guys know it. You come, and I said this before, you bring all your dirty laundry with you from college, all your bad habits. You still think you're the guy, but you still got to earn your stripes. You got to earn your place. Sorry, man. It's just how it works. And so, EB was going to make sure of that. He let him know, man, this right here is responsibility. Not only that, but it's a privilege that you're in. So you better get used to it because this is a business and you got to be a professional. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Andrea said that. Go ahead.
No, I was laughing. MVS said that because we've heard some stuff that MVS, needed some accountability last year himself. So it's interesting that he's the one saying that.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That would have never happened on EB's watch. Never.
Yeah. So I guess consensus here, we're good with either one, EB or Doug Pederson. And honestly, I think we're all in favor of see all the above. Bring them all back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now we get to the other one that a lot of people are saying Nagy can go.
Right, I also like this cycle of like OC getting hired, bringing on one that gets fired somewhere else. Just keep this little pipeline going for the next until Andy. And whoever gets whoever gets that OC job when Andy leaves, lucky. So there you go, head coach. Boom, there you go.
Yeah, we are fortunate in that respect. And the beauty is when, well, I don't know about EB's case, but if it's EB or Doug Pederson, whoever's there and does well for the next 2 years, then they're going to be a head coach the following 2 years. But so far, EB's
Nagy gets hired now, gets fired in like 3 years. Boom, man, he retires in like 4. Nagy's the guy.
Well, it's just sad that if EB does become the OC, we've seen that he doesn't become the head coach, whereas every other OC that we've had becomes a head coach, but somehow EB doesn't. And
that's a whole different conversation right there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to bring, a little wine and some whiskey in here for that.
Let's be honest. The head coach, it's going to go through number 15. Whoever 15 wants to be the next head coach, probably going to be the next head coach.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and I think whoever 15 wants to be the OC, probably going to be the next OC too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If not full, got a big say in it. Let's put it all on the table.
Yeah, he'll definitely be he'll be in the discussions of Veach and Andy and whoever that is.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.